This is a termination of tenancy action under the emergency provision. There is apparently no lease, or if there is a lease, I don't have a copy of it. Mr. Rognus alleges damage, health hazard to the property. This property was subject to a search warrant, resulted in criminal charges against this defendant, Danette Carter, and several others, including the allegation that they were maintaining it as a drug house. Your criminal case is file 25996 FY. That charges delivery of methamphetamine and maintaining a drug house. That was in front of Judge Pattison. I think I did your initial arraignment. That matter is bound over to the circuit court last week, June 16th, or a couple weeks ago. So, Mr. Rognus, your position is you wish the defendant to move?
Yes, Your Honor. By way of background, her co-defendant, Christopher Sears, Carrie Sears' son. Christopher has now deeded the property back to his father, and we're taking heat from the City of Sturgis Police Department about all the drug activity that's taken place over there. Definitely want the property back so we can go in and rectify the circumstance. Substantial amount of rehab is going to be need to take place. I don't know if you read all the police report, but it is in bad shape. And there is no lease. I mean, Ms. Carter was there just under the auspices of Christopher Sears, who nobody bailed out of jail because his dad's sick and tired of his meth habit.
I do have receipts of me paying rent though.
All right, well, Miss Carter, what's your position?
Right now, I moved in with Chris, because he said he needed help paying his rent. So I moved in with him back November of last year when he lived in Village Manor. And I have been paying him $500 a month every month since then. I do have some receipts, and right now, and the reason I was glad that he did let me move in, which was a blessing, is because I was homeless at the time, and when I leave here, I will be homeless again.
Well, you have no lease. The person that owns the house isn't getting any of the money. I don't suspect you're paying $500 a month to Christopher Sears when he's in jail. So you're what's known as a tenant at sufferance.
I paid rent last week, Your Honor, and I get paid. I paid Chris Sears $500 last month, and I'm on disability, so my next check isn't until the 3rd of this month.
All right, well, don't pay anybody anything. Chris Sears doesn't own this house. Carrie Sears owns it, so I wouldn't pay Chris Sears 5 cents. I think he's in jail.
Correct.
Yes.
So you're there with no lease. The search warrant was very graphic. They contend that you're the one that's selling the drugs out of there, known as Mama D. Your matter's bound over to circuit court, and police are concerned about this place, and the man that owns the house wants you to move. Have you made any provision to try to move?
Right now, I have been looking for a place to stay. However, I have had no luck.
Now, they filed this as a
unlawful drug activity case.
Yes.
Well,
is anybody else in the house?
No, it's just me and my cat. I have a friend here and there that'll come by and say hi, hang out for an hour or two, and then leave. I cleaned up the house pretty much. And also I'd like to say, actually, I do have a receipt from Carrie Sears. When I paid rent, I gave the money to him. That was back in February, and I have that receipt with his name on it.
Well, you don't have a lease. It isn't as bad as it was, but in the early days of meth houses, they were like toxic waste sites, very difficult to clean up. They did find some quantities of methamphetamine, lots of evidence of methamphetamine use, pipes and syringes and paraphernalia all over the place. But I think, Andrew, the safest thing to do is to continue this to next Monday. Ms. Carter, I would just right now worry about getting your stuff out of there because they have the legal standing to move you out of there. You don't have a lease. You got charged with a crime while in this property. The police want the house cleaned out. Don't pay anybody any money. Don't pay Christopher any money. Don't pay Carrie any money. All right, we'll address this Monday.
My client says every time he drives by the property, there's all kinds of cars hanging out there. So it continues to be a drug house.
You have 10 days to move out or you're subject to being evicted. You have until July 17th. You've had the benefit of living there for several months without rent. He feels you're trashing his house. The police are on his case. He wants you to move.